And we can now welcome Margaux Benn to the program. We lost contact with her a bit earlier, but she's joining us here now. She is a reporter who has reported extensively on Afghanistan. Thanks for joining us, Margaux. Now, as we heard earlier in the program in a soundbite from French President Emmanuel Macron, hundreds of Afghans who worked as fixers and interpreters, for example, have arrived in France, but many more remain stuck in the country. Do you know what the current situation for those people on the ground is in Afghanistan?
Well, the atmosphere in Kabul is that of panic for those people. Those who I'm in touch with tell me that they have absolutely no information, not just from the French, but from other embassies as well. There are people currently in Afghanistan who hold foreign passports or who have valid visas to leave and who have asked to be evacuated, but these people are still on standby. They have absolutely no news and they don't know what's going to happen to them. Often these people, these visa holders, these passport holders, they speak other languages. They have worked with international organizations, with embassies, with NGOs, and they know that they will be targeted in priority by the Taliban. Many of them are currently hiding in their homes. Several of them have told me that they've actually moved with a minimum of belongings in order to not be identified if they're found by the Taliban. And there are many reports of the Taliban going door to door, trying to find government workers and people who worked for the security forces and for international organizations. So these people are in grave danger, and they're just hoping to be evacuated as they should be.
Now, the Taliban has announced amnesty for government workers in a bid to urge people to return to work. But in light of what you just said, is that a credible claim?
Well, if what's reported from the field is to be believed, not at all. There are reports from provinces like Herat of women being sent away from the university from their work. Many women are, in hiding currently. As I was saying, the Taliban are going door to door trying to figure out, who used to work for the government, etc. There are reports, for instance, several Afghan media have broadcast an audio file that is, according to them, of a Taliban mullah telling women that they should not wear makeup in public, or else if they wear makeup on their hands or their feet, their hands or the feet will be cut. So I think the Taliban are just continuing their communication campaign that has been going on for the past few years, and that aims to kind of soothe their image, with respect to internationals. But on the field, this is not at all the case. Just to conclude, I'd also like to say that the Taliban are not a monolithic group. There is a huge gap between what is said in Doha, for instance, in the political bureau, and what happens on the field, and what the actual fighters and commanders believe. Many Taliban fighters and local commanders, still believe in the rules that were implemented 20 years ago, and they still believe that women should not work and that girls should not go to school past a certain age.
Yes, let's talk more about women. What is life like for them under Taliban rule?
Well, when I was there in a village that was controlled by the Taliban a few months ago, the women were not very much seen in the public space. Some of the only women that I saw were in a clinic where they only saw a female doctor that was allowed to come back and forth from Kabul several times a week in the absence of a female GP in the village. This was obviously, a good thing that a female GP could actually practice medicine under Taliban rule, but I should say that this is definitely not the case in many areas under Taliban rule. So again, it differs, from province to province and from commander to commander. Again, the Taliban are not a unified group. I would also add that in the precise village that we visited, girls did not have a school. There was a school for boys, but not for girls. Girls studied in a makeshift schoolroom and were taught the Quran by a local village woman who just read the Quran to them. They did not have access to any education on, on other subjects, maybe one or two courses on mathematics, but not really, whereas the boys did have more diverse types of subjects.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us here on the program, Margaux Benn. And you can check out her report, Life in Taliban Country, on France 24's website. We broadcast that for our reporter show back in June.